Hello and welcome back here in the ESOMAR TV studio downstairs in the middle of the exhibition floor. It's our sixth and final broadcast here during the coffee breaks, and this one is titled Switching Roles, which is all about turning it around, really turning it from a lean back experience to a lean in experience. And that's why I'm starting here with my social media moderator Marcel.
Hi Gerrit.
Hi. We really need you on this one because...
Finally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you've been watching Channel 1, I bet that was kind of a challenging experience because also inside the room here, we're actually keeping people on their feet and actually participating, trying to go viral with this campaign, of which Cyril will soon talk a little bit more about in the studio. But before we do that, to look forward to a little later in this segment, Finn Raben, the Director General of ESOMAR, sent a tweet out a little earlier.
Yeah, that's correct. And the tweet was basically around what you would like to see addressed at the Congress and other events in the future.
Exactly. So please tweet me what topics you'd like to see next year, and I'll review them on ESOMAR TV at 15:30. That's right now.
Yeah,
we already had some responses, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Show me.
We had indeed some interesting responses. One of the first to respond was Christoph Welter. Welcome, Christoph, and thank you. And the question to Finn, he is mentioning that it would be great to discuss the role of design in research and what the two disciplines can achieve together. So that as a given to Finn later on.
And we had another one from Els Molenaar.
Els, yes. Els was wondering, or actually asking to Finn, to a suggestion kinda. What about bringing the perspective of marketers into the stories, and how do they bring insights alive?
Exactly, and that's just two great examples of stuff we want you to later on. But before we go and do that, we already have Finn here to do something very differently, because we're about to enter the grand finale, I guess, of the program. There's a lot of keynotes scheduled. After the break, you will be listening to Jordan Casey on stage, being interviewed by Niels Schillewaard. But before you're going to listen to Casey on stage, he's right here with us in the studio. Finn, take it away.
Thank you, Marcel. So, Jordan, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I mean, we've known you for a little while now, and you've been very good to come down and spend some time with us this afternoon. So, for the viewers online, I'm absolutely delighted to be here with Jordan. Jordan was a young man that we got to know last year, I guess much better than we thought we would, when we heard some of his fantastic exploits. And you may have heard in the earlier session that we were chatting with some of the students and talking about, you know, at what age can you become a CEO? Well, this amazing young man became a CEO at the age of 14, but I'm not going to tell his story. Jordan, maybe you just give the guys online a little summary of how we got to know you and how we heard about your story.
Yeah, okay. So pretty much everything started for me when I was 9. I used to play a game on the internet called Club Penguin, and I saw that some of the people who played it made sort of websites and blogs about it. So at first I just thought it'd be like a fun hobby, like something to do. So I bought a book on programming, started watching videos on YouTube. And as I gradually developed my skills, I realized that I could sort of make a business out of it. And over the last few years, that's what I've been doing, yeah.
Brilliant. And so, I mean, how did we get to know you? What was the occasion that we got to know each other a bit more?
Well, you guys got in touch with me about your Congress last year in Nice, sort of for me to come and give a presentation, tell my story to the audience. And so, yeah, we came and it was really good.
Now, we also made a bit of an error, though, right? There was a day there was a special day that we kind of made a mistake on. What was that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was my mum's birthday during the event. So my mum was coming with me to the event in Nice, but it wasn't actually too bad for her. She loved the weather, like Ireland at the time was pretty bad weather, and we got to go to Monaco, which was really close. So she actually really enjoyed her birthday.
Well, we were very embarrassed when we heard it was Jordan's mum's birthday. So anyway, we hopefully we made up for a little bit. But Jordan was spectacular, and he told his story about how somebody with a little bit of imagination and a lot of drive, no matter how old you are, can build something which was quite astonishing. And you were like one of the youngest ever accredited app developers for Apple or something, wasn't that the?
Yeah, when I was 12, when I released my first game, which is called Alien Ball vs. Humans, which was sort of like a Space Invaders game, it was revealed that I was the youngest iOS developer in Europe at the time. So that was pretty cool.
So there's a challenge, guys. Anybody can beat that? Now, but it was also kind of an interesting year last year because you not only were running a company, but you also had some schoolwork to do.
Yeah, last year, particularly in school, I had to do a lot of focus because I had my junior cert exams, which is a big state exams at the end of the year, so I couldn't do as much work as I wanted to because my parents sort of made me study. But yeah,
Bummer. That, you know.
yeah, it was. But yeah, I got my junior cert results there in September, and I was fairly happy that I put the work in because I got good results. So
Fantastic. Well, congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Now, but I do remember you saying at one point during the chat on stage in Nice that kind of managing a business and doing homework sucked, basically. That it really was a tough balance to get, but clearly there was a good benefit in the long run.
Yeah, it can be like difficult at times. Like something that I think is really important is to have a balance and have an organized sort of structure. So like I structure how I do my school, which is it's like every day, Monday to Friday. Like then when I get home, I work on my business for a bit. And then on the weekends, I think it's important to just take a break from everything. Like just go outside with the lads, my friends, and like hang around. Yeah.
So how do you kick off steam when you're like frustrated? Do you play football? Do you what sports do you do?
Yeah, I play a lot of football. I used to play with a team, but I don't play anymore. But yeah, I play a lot of football, and whenever I'm just like stressed or anything, I just take a ball outside and like
Great.
just call one of the lads. I play a lot of like video games as well, which again football because I play the FIFA games, so that's pretty much all I play. But yeah, football in general is just something that's really important to me.
But isn't that kind of like a busman's holiday? I work on apps. That's my business, and I relax doing apps. Is there not? How do you find the mix between that and the business side of things?
With sort of like football, like I think football, like just it's a weird combination. Like a lot of people say, but like something that I try to do a lot is combine football with what I actually do with my apps. So, for example, in February I was at a conference in Madrid. I did a TV interview, and by luck, really, Florentino Perez, who's the president of Real Madrid, saw it and sent me an email asking me to go and be a presidential guest at like a big Real Madrid match. So I got to go over there, like
Fantastic.
meet all the players, and then so hopefully get to work on Real Madrid's foundation on a couple of projects in the future. So I think combining like what I love, like my passion, my second passion, football, with my business has been good for me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, how many more well dones can I say to this stage? So not only are you, one of the youngest ever CEOs, you're probably one of the youngest ever Galacticos that played for Real Madrid, or at least, have an association with Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
You've mentioned the conference circuit. I mean, is this something that you now do fairly regularly, or is it kind of stuff that you just try and fit in every now and then?
Oh yeah, I do it fairly regularly. Like I love speaking, and I love giving, like telling people my story, trying to inspire people. So like I do conferences every couple of weeks. Like I get to travel a lot as well, which is a big bonus. Like I got to go to Nice and explore Nice and Monaco as well. I was in Saudi Arabia in May, which was a big eye opener for me. And along the way, I get to meet like really cool people, get contacts as well for my business. So like just so many benefits to coming to events like these.
Fantastic. And so, are there any countries now on the map that you say, well, I'd really like to go there now that you're a worldwide global traveler?
I'd love to go to somewhere like Dubai, like the Arab Emirates would be sort of cool. And like I just love America. I'd love to go to America.
Very good. Well, we're in New Orleans next year, so maybe we can, work that one out. Okay.
That would be cool.
So that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So you talked about football a little bit, and your weekends off being kind of important to stay away from the business.
Yeah.
What is it, or rather, what are the kind of the big challenges that you find, having to kind of manage the school and the business? When are the days when you kind of have to thump your head off the wall and say, oh my God, I haven't managed to,
there can be some difficulties with what I'm doing because of my age and like the restrictions that I have. Like obviously with the school, I can't really like work on deadlines because I can't work full time. So my working time is pretty restricted in that regard. But there's other things, like it's hard to be taken seriously sometimes because of my age. Like when I'm trying to meet investors or potential mentors or things like that, it can be just a bit of a struggle because it's like people sort of judge you because like you're not a real business person or you like don't have like a suit and tie kind of stuff. So I try to get over it, and I have a lot of people that have supported me to help me get this far. So it's a good thing.
Okay. If you need a suit and tie, I'll lend you mine anytime. No problem. Okay. And on a much more practical level, now you're upstairs, you're doing some work. You might be closing a deal, and your mum screams up at you, look, dinner's on the table, you got to come down now. So how do you balance those kinds of things?
Well, my parents are pretty supportive of what I do, but like, yeah, my parents, like, I'm not allowed to eat my food upstairs in my room, which can be a bit of a struggle because I might have like an important Skype call with someone or something like that, and like when we're going on family outings or stuff like that. But yeah, my parents sort of are very supportive of what they do. They take a lot of time out to sort of fit in, like when I need like support and things like that. And like I wouldn't have gotten this far without their support from the very beginning. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Even if occasionally your mum does have to miss her birthday.
Yeah.
So look, you've been at 2 of our congresses now. What do what are the differences? What have you seen? What did you see in France? What have you seen here that you think is, remember we're in Dublin now. So as I said earlier, I'm extraordinarily proud to be able to bring Congress back to Dublin. But what have you noticed in your few minutes here that you see is different, or is there anything different that you feel about it?
Yeah, like I've had some time last year to look around at all the sort of exhibits, and not this year. I haven't got much time, but like it looks really, really well done. Like the whole sort of TV sort of aspect and the live stream is pretty cool, and just like Dublin in general, it's like because it's so close to home, I'm pretty like familiar with it. So like it's great coming like up to Dublin for conferences and things like that.
I'm also really glad, by the way, that you helped me sorting out the weather because, I mean, let's be honest, if this had been lashing rain for the last 3 days, it wouldn't have been anywhere near the success that it has.
Yeah.
So, the question that we asked you at the end of last year's Congress was kind of, what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, you're 15 now, right? You've just passed your Intercert, you got great marks, you run a company. I mean, God, you've probably checked more boxes on the list than I have at this stage. So what's next?
Well, in the short term, I'm doing transition year in school this year, which is pretty much a year for me to work on extracurricular activities such as my business, and so I'm trying to get as much work as I can done, and like get my friends involved as well for this year, because next year I'm starting preparations for my Leaving Cert, which is the big like state exam. So short term, I'm working on transition year, but then in the future, like I don't really know yet. Like ideally, if I have something going, like I'd like to move to a city like London. Get some work down there, but I could go to college as well. Like I have a bit of time to decide. So, but like the dream is to have a big company, like be the CEO of like a huge like sort of multinational. That's the dream.
Well, all I can say, Jordan, is with the amount that you've achieved already, that you'll probably have that done by the time you're 19, let alone any older.
Thanks very much.
Listen, I can't tell you what an extraordinary pleasure it is to chat with you. We're extraordinarily proud that we got you to talk on an Irish behalf in Nice, and we're really, really thrilled that you're here today.
Thank you.
I know you're going to be talking about a very special project up with Niels, which I'm not going to go into now, but for those of you that are watching, Jordan has got involved in an extraordinary project, which is something that we all really ought to do more of. But you're going to have to watch the live stream later on to catch more of that. So for all of you, join with me, please, in just thanking Jordan. He's a remarkable young man.
Thanks
We're honoured to call him a friend, and I hope that we get to chat, next year, maybe even after the transition year, to see how things are going.
Well, that'd be great. Thanks very much.
All right, you're very welcome. Thanks a million, Jordan.
Thanks.
And Gerrit.
Okay. Yes, well, obviously you don't want to tell what Jordan's talk is about, but we can reveal the theme, and it's all about giving back,
Yes,
right?
indeed, absolutely.
And that's the beautiful bridge into what we're going to do right now, Finn, because it's all about time for you to give back.
Yep.
Finn, that tweet that Marcel just mentioned, what was that about?
Well, I think one of the things that we're quite conscious of is that many times when we're looking at the themes or the different programs that we put together for conferences and Congress, we tend very much to look at current events or to see what's topical in the news, and we don't often just bang it out to our members, to all of our delegates, to say, look guys, what keeps you awake at night? And maybe we're missing something. And I just thought, having this opportunity, we're online, people have been tuning in, watching some of the content, we thought, let's just get it out there and let's see what the feedback is.
Get them to give back.
So fire it out.
Yeah, what we like to do with that is we can see in the statistics that you are watching. There's about 100 of you right now. So yes, I'm talking to you directly. What you can do is, if you scroll down a little bit in your interface, you see 3 tabs under the video player, and the left tab is labeled Ask. Well, in this case, I don't want you to use it to pose questions, but I actually want you to use to brainstorm with us about some suggestions, like content that you would like ESOMAR to talk about. And you can do two things. Either you can submit some ideas. You guys should definitely talk about the role of marketing, how design and marketing research can work together. Or you can like, because there's a like button, you can need a like question, but now you can like the suggestions. So then you can actually start to help us about creating the best ideas. And now this is the exciting bit, because we're live and we're now watching this empty screen, and we hope you're going to help us to actually make that fill up and make some valuable contributions, right? As I said it in the opening segment of this section, this is no longer about leaning back, enjoying Congress. Now this is about leaning in and making sure that you provide ESOMAR with the opportunity to give you the very best and most interesting content that you have. Because if you don't speak now, you can't complain ever, right?
Absolutely. Now's the chance. And one of the themes that I'm certainly keen to see how we can build on it and how we can expand upon it is my favorite theme, which is that of, be proud to be a market researcher. All too often we hear all of the bad things that go on. And it's a bit like airplane travel. How many planes cross the globe every day, but all you ever hear is about the one that crashes? And I don't want to bring a negative tone to the conversation,
Yeah.
but it's that kind of volume. There are so many amazing things that we do in this profession. I'd love to know what it is that you'd like to see us bring out and really, build a program around.
Yeah, and if you just joined us, I mean, there was a little bar on the screen just now, which actually read, yeah, there it is again. Let's see if we can leave that out there, which then explains to you what we actually expect from you to do. Give us a list of topics and start brainstorming. We don't see anything yet. But tapping into the theme of being a proud market researcher.
Yes.
Some of you might just have been watching Channel 1, where Cyril Kortenleven was being very interactive. And what I noticed in Channel 1, they found it rather difficult to keep you as a part of that interactive broadcast. So I guess most of you, we saw a tweet wondering, is Channel 3 just working? Still working? Oh, what? There's stuff coming in. Akin, thank you very much. Cyril, step in and we can do this all on the flow. While we see the first suggestions of topics coming in, Cyril Kortenleven, you were just on Channel 1. Here's your mic.
Perfect.
But we kind of lost you when you started to give the audience assignments in the likes like, what would brand X do?
Yes.
So could you kind of summarize what happened after? Because for the online viewers, that was very difficult to grasp.
Yeah. What we've done is we asked people be inspired by industries from outside market research. So maybe take a brand, and I showed a few brands on the screen. What would McDonald's do to make sure that you refresh your own industry? So, or Red Bull. Red Bull, they would come up with a kind of drink. So one of the ideas that came up in the group was, maybe we need our own market research drink. And when we're working with clients, we start with that drink before we go into discussion. So they used the different brands as inspiration. So we were learning cross-industry, because some industries have already taken some steps. They are a bit further on one domain. And what can we learn from that? Exactly. So that was the plan or the exercise that we did.
And then in the end, we saw you back on stage again. And we saw you on stage with this thing. Wait a second.
This gets to be the embarrassing moment, I suspect.
Cyril, what is this all about?
This is so at the end, we can stand in here. Yep. So we can hold it, we can get in the topic. So what we've done and what we wanted to create, we know that there are 1,000 market researchers here. So if half of them would start tweeting, and I was just checking, we would already be the trending topic, in Ireland. So the plan was, how can we, as a market researcher, we're starting to use the hashtag I'm a proud market researcher. And the challenge or the quest was that people could come up with even a different word. So if you would say I'm a creative market researcher, then I asked them, make a creative picture with this frame. So they would do something funny with the picture.
Are these frames also available digitally?
We can create them.
We need to have for our viewers at home, right? If they want to be a proud marketeer.
Absolutely.
So now, to make it extra complicated, you're not only brainstorming on topics that Finn wants to use in his next content streams, you're also now tweeting with #ESOMAR TV, and you're tweeting with I'm a proud marketeer.
Yes.
So what are some of the tweets we're seeing? Let's see if we can pull that up. Marcel, can you do a live search? #I'm a proud
Market research. I think we
Market
already
research.
have quite a lot of them.
I think we have the technical capabilities to put that on the screen. Let's give him a little minute.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
let's see what comes in. So obviously this is like total chaos, but that's nice. Who doesn't
I
like
like chaos.
Who doesn't like a little chaos?
That's live TV.
Because we have Claire. Is it Claire? Yeah. So Claire is one of our most loyal viewers over the past few days. Thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you,
and Claire is suggesting the reality of aligning clients' budgets with their desire for more inspiration and action. They often don't want to pay for this. So we've been talking to clients on this show as well. How can ESOMAR play a role in education-wise on this topic?
Well, thank you, Claire. It's a great topic. And I think the challenge is kind of multifaceted one, and a great one that's worth further exploration. Because, I don't know if you saw the Unilever guys yesterday, but they said actually that their budgets have not reduced. They're simply spending it in different ways. And they're spending it in different ways because some of the more traditional methods that they've been using, they felt weren't delivering the results. So I think that's an absolutely great suggestion to see whether or not we can get other clients maybe to detail how spending has changed and what mechanisms they're using, because clearly whatever they've been buying to date isn't necessarily meeting the need. So I'd really like to explore that one, actually.
All right. And as we speak, yes, this is starting to work. We see another input coming in, and that's back to the topic that you're talking about. It's anonymous. You didn't enter their name, unfortunately. They say, in order to improve our image out there, we as a profession should make clear our relevance to the ordinary public, not only the businesses. Couldn't that be a topic for the new year? And just before you answer that, Marcel, I think you have your screen ready, right? If we can see it, there's actually people posting already. Oh no, that's not the screen we're looking for. We're actually looking for the tweets of I'm a proud marketeer. Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
We can look live on Marcel's screen. There you go. So these are the pictures you're referring to. If everybody starts to do this.
This is already a totally different image of a market researcher. Look the creativity, what people are doing. This is fun. This is what we want to spread. And that we
That's
also
fantastic.
work with data, that's fine. But this is really what we want to see.
And is this a topic for next year, to actually how to break ourselves into the ordinary public, as this viewer is suggesting?
Yes, very much so. I mean, I think this has also been an initiative that's been started by one of the federations of associations around public trust, but I think it's something we can build on even more. Because we depend on people's opinions for what we do, whether we ask them for it or whether they just volunteer them. They've still got to feel trust. They've got to know that we're not going to mess around and do the wrong things with any information they give us. And it's like with any agreement and any friendship. Trust is built up over a long time, but you can destroy it in an instant. So it's a really good thought.
All right, and now this is starting to work. So great compliment for you guys. We have another suggestion. Let me read it out. And if you just joined us, what we're doing, we're trying to gather some kind of online brainstorm where you actually help Finn in compiling the content that he needs to put on the agenda for the next ESOMAR Congress or the next ESOMAR events anywhere out there, webinars, whatever, right? So the next suggestion is about how to break through the acceptance barrier. For example, convincing non-marketing finance / underwriting decision makers that understanding consumer behavior matters. So I guess this is another one in improving the value, changing perception.
Yeah, and I again, a great thought. And it's one theme that we I don't know if you got a chance to watch Susan Hayes when she opened the first Economist speaker. But this was a point that I think Susan was trying to build on quite a lot, where she said, just because you do one piece of research on this thing, whatever the issue is, if that decision is made, then there are going to be impacts on a whole number of other bits going right down the line. So that you may be doing a piece of work on the quality of steel fabrication or something, but if that steel is being used to build buildings and submarines and God knows what else, then there's a real knock-on benefit right down the line. And I think that's how you incorporate and get these kinds of ancillary parallel groups of people to understand the benefit. So I think that would be key. Yeah, great idea.
Now, Cyril, you are someone who is not specifically from the research industry. You appear in a lot of conferences, in a lot of trades and associations. Mm-hmm. I bet the market research industry is not the only one struggling with proving their value and getting their image right. This is a great campaign. What other examples are you aware of industries? You shared the one in your talk about I'm a proud engineer, on which this is inspired.
I look like an engineer is one of them. Sometimes you see some smaller initiatives. Most of the time it's going out there, meeting the people and have a dialogue, because a lot of people, they don't know what you're doing, or they have an image of it. Sometimes my girlfriend is a lawyer. She doesn't want to say it when she's sitting in a bar, because people have a certain image of it. But if you talk to other people, then suddenly that image can change. So I think go out there and show that they can talk to you. It's only a profession that you have, and yeah, go and dialogue and be proud and.
Well, and I think the final comment before we, is it the bells or just the coffee machine rambling? Oh, it's not the bell. What's the protocol here? We never know. Anyway, let's take another one. Another suggestion from one of our viewers is, can we hear more about actionability of research findings? So even transformation within the client company via research. We talked a little bit about that during the previous lunch break when we celebrated the client side of research. It seems to be like market researchers are struggling with that, right?
Well, so there's two elements, I think, to this argument. One is that when we do good work for clients, they don't always want to broadcast it, because they think, hang on, that's going to give me a competitive advantage, so I don't want to release this fantastic work that we do. And other times, it's just maybe that we don't shout loud enough about it. We do need to, we're market researchers, we're not marketeers. We've got to learn how to market ourselves better. But one of the things that we have done is that each year we do this thing called the Research Effectiveness Award, where we ask
that's
buyers.
That's going to be presented later
Correct.
Today on Channel 1,
You've taken
right?
the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. But that Research Effectiveness Award is about getting clients on stage to say, look, I had a problem, I've spent this amount of money on doing research, and the net bottom line to me after that is that many thousands of whatever. And that's one of the ways we try and say, look, this is about actionability, this is about research making a real difference to the businesses that are buying it.
Interesting. Well, if you're watching this, perhaps you're even watching this in the recording, I guess people can still reach out to you, right? Because this is not
Absolutely.
a 20-minute brainstorm that we do right now and you might have missed. Where can people find you? Obviously, you're on Twitter.
At Fin01 on Twitter.
At Fin01, and he was the first one claiming that handle. At Fin01. All right. And Cyril, if people, what other stuff do you expect to happen with this?
Yeah,
If you just joined, this is the frame, right?
What I've already seen is that the students are walking around with selfie sticks. So I hope it will continue during the event, and maybe even at the gala dinner. That people are going to make some pictures. And what I hope is that this could be a beginning. It's a bit fun, it's interactive, but what I really hope is that people take it home and going to do and try their own IDs. What I will do, because you see that the post-its at the back, I don't know if you can
the
see
post-its,
it. Post-its, and some more post-its are coming. I think there are some brilliant IDs on there, what we can do. So what we'll do, and I heard Patricia already saying, we're going to cluster them and make a data analysis of it. Then
Make a nice word cloud out of it.
Make a word cloud or something, and maybe we can share it with the people who are watching and the
Great
people who
idea.
came to the conference, and maybe they can pick some things and go for it. Yeah, the best thing that I can say is give it a try, experiment, and see what happens. And if it works, share it.
All right, thank you. And we have a last suggestion of Mete. Thank you. I'm just celebrating. I'm not only celebrating the client side, I'm celebrating the viewer side. I'm so glad you're finally getting loose. So Mete is suggesting to you, Finn, how big, extensive research can be made syndicated and customized for client needs to make research more affordable and achievable, right? Because you say budgets don't incline, but I had Stan and BV Pradeep earlier in the studio. They say, no, the budget is still the same, but we just expect more for the same amount of money.
Absolutely right. And if they don't get it, then they spend it elsewhere and they find other tools to generate the same findings. So, I think this is the great challenge to us, and we've got to work out how to do this. And yes, great idea. If you've got suggestions on people that you think might be good speakers, or that you know of somebody who might want to send in a paper for review by the committee, I'd really love to look at that one, because I think that's what's going to move us on to the next level ultimately.
All right, and with that, the clock strikes about 4:05. As I said, it's not the finale, it's a whole other day of Congress tomorrow. But unfortunately, our little studio, Channel 3, will be closed tomorrow. There's still a lot of great stuff to see on Channel 1 and on Channel 2. But for now, I invite you all to direct yourself to Channel 1, where you first up see Jordan Casey, the guy who you just met here in the studio, where he will then reveal his super remarkable new cool project. And after that, we have a keynote by a dance psychologist. Well, I'm very curious to find out what that is all about. Thank you very much for joining here in the studio during the past 2 days. I very much enjoyed it. I hope to see you again. And keep tweeting hashtag ESOMAR TV or hashtag I'm a proud market researcher. Thank you very much.